Hey everyone, welcome. We have a great masterclass today with our artist in residence, Seth Parker Woods, and we have five amazing musicians from the 2021 Next Festival of Emerging Artists who are going to play for Seth today and get some great feedback from him. So, since we have a lot of music to listen to and to enjoy, I'm going to turn it right over to Seth. And great to have you back, Seth. Good to see you.
Thank you. I guess it's like wraps up my time, but
I know, it's like the last day of summer camp. We're going to miss you.
there's still more for you all to do. You have still lots more programming, so that's really exciting.
Yeah,
It's so
thanks for
great.
doing this.
No, no, my pleasure. It's great to be here today. We have an amazing set of musicians scattered throughout the globe, but there's a heavy presence of people in New York City, of course, stateside. But we also have Ghent in Belgium. We also have Nova Scotia, and then I think we also wait, I think I missed one. Nova Scotia, Ghent, and New York. I think that's it. Yes. So we've got a nice little contingency here. So we're gonna start with Nina, who will be playing today Anna Tofastatia's Transitions for solo cello.
Hey, hi. Should I just start from beginning to the end?
Yes, you're welcome to, and then we'll be kind of in conversation as we go along.
Yeah, and you can stop me whenever you want.
Okay. Bravo, bravo, bravo. So there's a lot of little techniques in here, especially this ending. Anna, why would you do
Yeah.
that to the cellist? So, what do you find to be the hardest thing about this work, and what's kind of the most musical thing that you love about the work?
The most difficult musical aspect, you mean? Or
Separate, separate.
okay. Most difficult thing technically is definitely the ending to be because it's the whole theme of man versus machine in this piece, and
Hmm.
at the end I have to combine it, and it's difficult to, yeah, I think show both the sides in my performance, but
Hmm.
also to play it well. Technically, I think it's the most difficult part.
Yeah,
And yeah, musically, what I like is just the whole idea of just switching between machine-like playing maybe and thinking, and then the more human aspect in this piece.
yeah, nice. So one thing I will say, because you're it may be the microphones, I'm not sure exactly. Some of the dynamics can definitely come down. You can come down in some of them where it's like piano and mezzo piano. It sounds more like mezzo forte
Oh,
on this
okay.
end. It may
Yeah.
be um, you may be doing it less on your end, but welcome to technology. Here we are. So, with that in mind, I think we can become a little bit more imaginative and think of dynamics as relatively, right? And not necessarily it has to be like this piano, this mezzo forte. Like, what is that really? You know? So I asked you piano, you're like, oh, quiet. So like, so your piano is a little bit different from my piano. So like understanding what that means for a mood or an environment, and have them be kind of relative, to each other as you start to kind of piece it together. Like, how does that actually feel or sound to you based on also the materials, the techniques that you're having to kind of grapple with. Um, so let's look back at the very beginning. Um, I think this is probably really. I don't know. I can't remember if she designates whether you vibrate at all or is it very still at the very beginning, and only when she gives the vibrato symbol that you really start to open it out very quite wide, to kind of help with that hairpin that you have,
Hmm.
right? So let's just try just that opening just once more. I feel as if it's almost so still, and you can come a little bit closer to the fingerboard.
Hmm.
Sorry, to the bridge a little bit in your
Okay.
bow,
Yeah.
just so it's like crystalline and just like exhale into the first pitch. So really think about how you come into that first note. Good. You could almost start your vibrato just almost to foreshadow it just a little bit, just slightly before, where she officially designates. So,
Yeah.
so let it feel like that should be its most, it
Yeah.
should be the most oscillations there. So you can kind of cheat it out just a little bit. Just think, these are their symbols, their guidelines essentially. These scores in general, they don't tell you how to bring it alive. They just give you some of the tools, and then it's up to you. Um, the opening so beautiful. Let's just try it once more. Once more. Yeah. And maybe once you get towards that hairpin, just give me just a little bit more weight in the bow, so we can really feel a little bit just weight in the sound as you're oscillating. And keep your bow, just you can slow it down and keep it as slow as you possibly need it. It doesn't You can just try a little bit slower speed in the beginning at least. Yeah. How does that feel? I mean, I think when you let it be fragile and not like I gotta control it, I gotta
Yeah.
control it. I don't think that's what she's setting you up. This is like this is gesture one, right? This is the first
Yeah.
gesture.
Hmm.
So you really
Yeah.
can like really let it go, and just really kind of live in that with a bit of the weight. I think we feel it then, and we can
Hmm.
kind of feel the breath of that, and
Okay.
then you come in. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay,
Sure.
fabulous.
Yes.
Now let's take the second gesture. Okay, good, good. Here, you can go slower. Your 40 is a bit fast. Your 40 is a bit fast.
Hmm.
Your relative tempos. So you're a bit brighter in general.
Yeah.
Do you enjoy, I mean, I watched you play it now, and you tend to be, a little bit faster than it's marked, which is totally fine. But I because of this opening gesture, I think you can pull, resist yourself, your internal beat,
Yeah. Yeah.
just a little bit, just so like that first fragile phrase can kind of morph into the next thing. So there's stillness, still very much so, even though when you have stasis on top of movement. That makes sense, yeah.
Hmm. Yeah.
So let's try the second one. Think about that very first note. Are you establishing the G and then adding the gliss, or are they working together?
Yeah. I would work together.
Okay, let's try that. And then as you come up in that, you kind of keep the same dynamic, and then let that G, that fragileness kind of open into the chords. So that you need to slow your right hand down just a little bit, and then kind of coax it out just a little bit. Probably in the fingers more there for that. So there.
Hmm. Yeah. I missed one.
How are you doing it?
With the nail, but I sometimes just miss the middle one.
I
It's
get it.
yeah.
Are you pulling? Are you pulling up or to the side?
To the sides.
To the
Yeah.
side. So are you kind of working like a hook?
Yeah. I am.
So try to stay on top of the string in that way. So you keep the kind of your same angle. Yeah. Yeah, there you go. Try to
Yeah.
keep it that 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 that. Yeah. Just also so when you give this accent, so it's
Okay.
that's at the beginning
Yeah. Hmm.
because you're gonna transition to something lighter, right? And almost immediately. Okay, here. So with these microtones, you want to push a little bit farther than you think in a way, but don't give us the C too early. Don't give us the C quarter,
Yeah. Hmm.
right?
Okay.
So slow those down so we really can. You give us a chance to really hear the beat.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so yeah, bong, bam. So keep them together. Keep the don't feel like it needs to break. That C still goes through the low C at the very
Yeah.
bottom. It should feel like
Okay.
you just lift out. So just
Yeah.
take that 2/4 bar, 50, measure 15, and go directly into the next thing. So feel as if your bow starts to really move in preparation for this subponticello.
Mhm. Yeah. I will.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. You like feel like you lift yourself out. Like, what is your choreography for that? So, like, you map
Yeah.
that for yourself. Okay, good. We have about 5 minutes. I know time flies. What I want to get to is this measure 27. It's vague pitches.
Yeah.
So really feel like you're just like you're just whispering, and then you kind of come out of it with that E. I would put the E on the G string technically, just because of the coloring of where you kind of going just that color. I don't know if you've tried that yet,
Yeah.
but that could be quite nice. And then let that immediately go to the D string, and then you have a little bit more control there to put weight down to open that vibrato a little bit more and go with the hairpin. Let's try that. So feel as if just right on where the solpanticello, the vague pitches are. Keep the bow very flautando, like just like really follow the line.
Yeah.
Okay, so there. So with those kind of things, you want to make sure as you make that gliss, it's still kind of there. You only kind of come back to the ordinario when you will arrive at the G. So the
Mhm.
gliss, the
Yeah.
kind of fragment, like the remnants of the glissando, much tighter and smaller, should still be there until you get to the
Yeah.
G
Mhm.
essentially, and
Okay.
then let that make sure there's no bow change moving up in the quarter tone, just so you keep that line.
Yeah.
Let's try one more time. Oh, softer, 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 softer. And less bow. You don't have to use so much bow. Just keep it more controlled.
Mhm.
Less, 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 less. Just control it even more. Okay, now let's try something else. Okay, now try to bring out just a few more pitches where it seems a little bit more in focus and less in focus. So feel as
Mhm.
if you're kind of like going back and forth. Like if you had faders, like a studio, you'd be like, like feel like that. Like you really like where am I going? Like take me there, take me there. So it's not just white noise, but we can see a little bit of the architecture a bit more. Okay, now split the difference. Some that are kind of in the forefront, other parts that are very much so in the background.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, you can come away even further here.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Mhm.
Yeah. So let that feel as if it can just be
Mhm.
right? So it's almost like a whisper within that. Um, we are out of time. There's so much more I can do on this piece. Um, it's so good. You're doing such an amazing job. But the one thing I'll pass on to you, just think about how you enter and exit your notes. like what is the quality of each of you, especially when you have chords?
Mhm.
What is it to kind of come into that? How you release it? How you control it in a way? How do you look at your gestures? Like, and even these things like with this architectural kind of design, she's giving you kind of a map. It's noodling in a way, but like, how can you like really kind of get inside of it in a way, right?
Yeah, okay.
And what can you bring out that doesn't feel like you're punching it, but like you just like you pull the veil back just a little bit, doop, boop, boop, right? And that same
Okay.
idea can kind of be applied even in all the muted sections that come after it, and then the next parts of the materials, so that they feel very much like this specific language that keeps coming back, that Anna
Mhm.
keeps bringing back, and in the middle of the other body, body, then you have like this thing, right? So it's like
Okay.
it's
Yeah.
this weird kind of bookend, that she kind of puts together. It's quite playful, actually. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Definitely. Okay.
So, but bravo, really great
Thank
job.
you. Thank you so much for this and for your time.
Yes, you're very welcome. It's so great to hear you.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Bye
Bye.
bye. Have a good night. All right, thank you all. So next up we have India Gailey with Sofia Gubadulina's 10 Preludes for Solo Cello. Um, and India, you doing three movements or one movement?
Um, I can do either of those. I
Oh,
have three. I have three ready, but if you want to stop and just like go deep on the first or any of them, we
okay.
can do
Let's start with
whatever.
the first one,
Okay.
and let's just see how far we get on.
Okay.
Okay, bravo. Okay, so let's work backwards. I want to make sure I give you enough time to give you a little bit of each one of them, the two that are here. So bravo. So you have lots of these gestures. Yup, ba. Are you feeling as if you throw away the tops, or you want to focus on a little bit on the tops of each of
I,
those?
I guess I wanted to emphasize them, but with lift.
Hmm.
Like a waltzy kind of thing.
Okay.
Are they like too light?
Uh, I feel like there's less focus up
Mm-hmm.
there, even though the bottom seems as if it's the focus, but it's actually the top.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 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 right. It seems as if but it's the end of that gesture, right? But when they're kind of in succession, they become larger gestures, right? So then you have to figure out. Then those are situations where, like, for your measure 59, where you go to dotted half note, right?
Mm-hmm.
So here, just go ahead and try to play that for me just for 1 second.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I forget the notes usually. No, that's not the notes. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, da da da. So let's try it one more time. So try starting a little bit softer so that if you can have that lift, you can use just the dynamic shift to help with that. Feel the a breath in there. It feels like you're jumping too fast because you're worried about getting to the next thing. So like baya, right? So let's try that one more time. Once more. Take your time to baya. Don't feel as if you are locked in to the metronome. You need to essentially, I feel like you have your kind of internal pulse that's there. You can play with a little bit, but make sure you were in control the entire way through. So
Okay.
baya. Then here, so really really light here in the left hand. I'm sorry, in your right hand. Come out a little bit in the bow. Come out a little bit. Just from that, just from the thumb, just from thumb. Give me a little bit more bite on the beginning of the note. A little bit more bite on the beginning of the note. Come from the air. Almost like a jete, like a jete. Yeah, now put it together. Yeah. Now with the fuller gesture. Like go to the bottom of the line. Yeah, so make sure you always come away. You always come away dynamically. You
Mm.
you start to kind of stay at this. You start to stay at the top of the dynamic instead of going back. But yeah, yeah. Come away. But yeah. So you can use less bow. You don't need so much bow to make the surge. Try to use a bigger muscle. But yeah. So come back. Keep coming in. So you're going by yeah. So down and then up. Is that how you're doing it?
Yeah.
So control here by yeah. So push. Yes. So that way you come away in dynamic. You need to control the uptake. Right now, your uptake is still locked in the surge dynamic in the top of the pin. Does that make sense?
Can you
So
rephrase
when
it?
you're by so when
Mm-hmm.
you're by your down bow, and then the beginning of your up bow is still locked in that heavier dynamic,
Oh.
in the louder dynamic, so it never comes away.
Mm-hmm.
So we end up with like piano to forte, and then forte, louder, louder, yeah. Yes, that's why I say you need to recatch yourself. So leave space for that breath in there.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. How am I doing?
No, it's good. It's good. You're not gonna get it fully until you like really you can be by yourself and kind of woodshed it in a way that way you can control it even more. Yeah, yeah. So each one of those should feel like they're kind of roughly the same gesture. The second one always feels like it's connected more to the so let's just go into that part. In this kind of 3-4-2-4. These 2s and 3s you keep trading back and forth towards the end of the piece.
Yeah, this section I would like to just ask right now, like how you interpret this juxtaposition of the time signatures with these bowings that are written in the part. It's like I don't know. I'm just a little confused.
Some of these came from Slava in working with her, so sometimes things that he found that worked best. So sometimes you're thinking about just weight of rhythm. Are you thinking in like 2, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, right? So thinking in that way. So sometimes the double up gives you places a little bit less focus. So everything is not, and everything is like so heavy, right? So let's just look at just these 3s and 2s in a way. So some of them are always they flow back and forth, and then your last kind of 3 measures you actually do play, really think as if you can kind of use that space you really kind of go to the end, so you can slow the time down just a little bit here. So right. So it's becoming more and more expansive each time within that, right? So control it a little bit more. Let's take the 1, 2, 3, the last 4 bars. Bum brum. So you kind of go up and then you're gonna come right back up. So be careful on your second to last bar that she gives you kind of almost from niente or just from where you land, and then you have one huge surge back to fortissimo. Come back. Right?
Okay.
I'm watching one thing here. Your bow does this. Control it so it stays very stable. Use a bigger group here. Come from your elbow. Come from the elbow. Now, the key, the last one, catches the ba-da-da-da-dum, ba-da-da-da-dum, ba-da-da-da-da.
I feel like I'm not doing it.
Yes, you can. No, don't worry. The last one, just think of it almost as it's a subito. It's a subito like piano to fortissimo, right?
Yeah.
So try it a little bit slower. Ba-dee-da-dee-dum, ba-dee-da-dee-dum, da-da-da. Yeah, go towards the bridge on the last one. More. Yeah. There you go. Don't forget to vibrate on the last one so we get the resonance.
Yeah, I was trying to dampen this G string. What do you think about that?
I would leave it open just because of the gesture of what it's linked to. Just leave it open.
Okay.
Let's just do this whole 3-2 section. Bum bum beep beep da bum 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 ba da 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 dum ba da 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 dum ba da da da. You got some resonance there. Into that. Good. Make sure you follow this crescendo that starts the second to the last two measures on the second to last system. So 71, measure 71. You kind of start here, so you have a subito again here, right? Similar to the very last measure for you. So feel it. Make sure you do come away for this.
The crescendo begins at 67. I guess I assumed it was continuous.
No. Well,
No?
yes, in the large scheme, yes, but she gives you a subito right there in that last part. But you're going up and you come back down, then you go further to get you to the C sharp A natural. That's on 74,
gotcha.
right?
Okay.
That becomes kind of your kind of apex for this towards this little ending here.
Okay.
So can you think? So feel like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Let's try to feel that.
Okay.
So the 2, 3 will be lighter. No, you can still keep it bumpy, 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 bumpy. Your eighth is still the quarter is very much so still there. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, right? So just try to feel almost like a 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1. So think of the 3, 4 bars as a big 1.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Nothing's faster within it. It's just you're just thinking you're just phrasing it in a way. Yes, much better. I think we're getting there. So no, you're doing good. You're doing good. You're doing good. So these are things to look at in this score because it can almost feel very esoteric in a way. And like I don't know what to do with it. And it's all about play and pattern, right? In many ways, and textures. So let's just go back a little bit so we make sure we get enough in here. Let's just go to your opening, the very well, let's stay on the second movement for just a second. Let me just hear your opening again once more, the second movement. Okay. Immediately, a lot softer. Think about what your first note actually sounds like. Even within the piano, you're coming in. It's a completely different character than the first one. So coax the C out, then add the G sharp, but make sure you're ready for both. Not that, so you already have that chord wall already in your head, right? So each one of those two is coaxed out, and then you coast, and then you move. I'm gonna give you a little tip here.
Yeah, I like this.
If you are already on your D sharp, you're trilling on D sharp. The last two bars.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so instead of trying to trill, put the second finger, your third finger, close to the second finger, and then just go, almost like a little
like a
B.
vibrato?
Yeah, exactly. But it's really close. It's really close. So you almost don't even have to move too much. So you just go kind of up and down. Yes. Can you play D sharp and E? D sharp E? Okay, now put the third, what would be the E, put it right on the finger. So it's gonna look like that.
So which
You're not gonna oscillate between two fingers freely. They're gonna be together. There you go. Yeah.
Is that
Now,
okay with the tuning alteration?
yes. Now add the G. Now, the widest part of the oscillation is going to happen within the peak of the hairpin. So you're going to come from not a lot. Remember, you're going back to the beginning of your dynamic, subito, then growing through. So the widest part of that movement will be in the middle of the apex of that. Now control them together so that the G is not popping out too much. So as you're fading away, they stay together. They stay together, right? So you need to oscillate between the two to keep your bow on both strings.
Yes.
So you don't get one or the other. So move up your elbow just a little bit so you stay in line. You don't drop down. You stay in line with the two strings. Pronate. Yeah. So pronate towards the end of the tip. So you stay there, and pull it out, and then just lighten up. That's much better. Now take it from the very beginning of this again. Okay. What I would like you to do, you're trying to get this trill immediately. I would rather you immediately give me the tuning first and then get it. So make sure you go directly to your G sharp. You have the bum B. Then you have a subito, so she puts it in there to allow you to reset, right? Bum B. Then you can add then let the vibrato start to come very minimally. So then it's at the top of it, right? Come away, come away, come away, come away. You're trying to go immediately. So body. Don't swell, don't swell, don't swell, don't swell. It's so controlled. The first, it's one crystalline, like what we're talking about with Anna Toshantatia's piece in the very beginning for her with the harmonics. Same idea here. Okay, so it's crystalline, no movement really. You're just ba ba, right? Just one and the other. Don't do too much movement here. It's the same dynamic, no swell. You just C, G sharp. They come together, then they coast. Then you drop down and then start, right? So there's no movement.
I did the old kind of trill.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I'm throwing things at you left and right. No, but this is so much better. How does this feel for you?
Oh, I'm just so excited about all the details to work on.
Lots of details and control, but control of your own sound and the gesture. Like, where are you going? Where, like, are you really following the architecture, or are we just following the notes? So that is something to start to move yourself beyond. Once most of this stuff is here, like the main technique, and then we go to something a bit more expansive. So this is good. We didn't really get to the first movement. The one thing I will definitely say about this: feel your breaks. Feel the breaks in here. We're almost up on time here. I know he gave me the 5 minute. We're at time. Okay, but right before we do, can you just play for me? Just play for me your first two gestures. First movement. Okay, good. Okay, now the first thing I'm going to tell you, much less, like take your dynamic way back.
Okay.
So a lot less movement. Your staccato. So all this, like Guadalina, I remember playing this for her. She just really wants it super, super, super precise. Just like it's almost like you think like three little pebbles fall off a mountain, right? It doesn't make a lot of sound, but it feel you get the visually it feels like it's a lot. You can suspend the hand just a little bit and just put it mostly in the fingers. Just try the first three notes. Come up a little bit in your elbow, just the elbow.
This elbow?
That one, yes. less sound, less sound, less sound. Okay, now the first four notes. B. Don't crescendo here, right? No, same. It's the same line, same line. Yep. Lift up, bop, bite it. Don't punch. Don't punch them. But just make contact with the string and lift out. There you go. No vibrato. Keep it really. B. Next one. Buddy. Short. Puppy. Less bow. Puppy. You don't have to move so much. You're right on the string. Puppy. There you go. The last two are together. Duddy. Yeah, so buddy. There you go. So the B flat, you don't need to hear it so much. Right? It's a resolution of it. So apply that to the rest of this. Okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome. I could give like a whole class on this. These preludes. There's a lot of detail in there.
I
So,
will go to that class.
but great work. Great work.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. So much great playing today. I'm loving it. Next up, we have Sam Zagnit with Darian Donovan Thomas's piece. So excited. Okay, hello, welcome.
Hello.
So how long have you been with this piece? I know this is probably one of the commission pieces from your organization.
Yeah, so it was one of the first pieces that we commissioned. So I've been working on it. I mean, I played it about a year ago, and this is kind of like the first, I think, public performance since. So I'm kind of excited to do a second try.
Awesome. Okay. So what's something you would like me to listen for? Since this is it's a new piece for me.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of, I think, really interesting and small details. A lot of things in terms of coordination, in terms of my voice and what I'm doing, and they're not always related, which makes it very difficult, but both in performance and in practice. And there's also a lot of gestures, and I think sometimes it's really easy to get lost in like all of the tiny details for the bigger picture. And so I've been trying to do that a little bit better these days.
Okay. And how are you thinking about the voice?
In terms of like
your practice for this specific work.
Well, so I found that it's probably one of the more taxing vocal pieces that I've had to work on, and so I've done a lot of isolating. It's kind of a lot of like work kind of outside of the bass and outside of and figuring out not only how to correctly support, but also to support while I'm doing like this, or like kind of positions that don't exactly help me do that. So that's been kind of interesting to explore as well.
Okay, fabulous. Here we go, a disintegrating foundation under a catastrophe of air.
disintegrating foundation. Disintegrating foundation under. Disintegrating foundation under a catastrophe of air. Disintegrating foundation under a catastrophe of air. Disintegrating foundation under a catastrophe. Disintegrating foundation under a catastrophe of air. Disintegrating foundation. Some glad, some glad morn, some glad morning. Some glad morning when our lives are over, who will fly away to that home on God's celestial shore, who will learn their way, who is in the field witnessing, who has turned away. Our friends die while they turn a blind eye. Our friends die while they antagonize. What do I do with these lungs that are filled with life? Could fly away. Which side am I on? Which side am I on? Which side are you on? Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
Nice. Okay. All right. So now we're going to dig into this. So there's some things I'm going to want you to do.
Sure.
And I'm looking at the score. I know you've worked with Darian on this, but I'm going to push some things here.
Okay.
Just because of the nature of the work and the text, so you can understand the characters. So you have kind of two characters here, at least minimum. So let's go back a little bit. From the very beginning, you always have this interesting, you don't let the voice kind of like morph to the bass in a way that always somehow continues to break before you get to the apex of the mezzo forte each time. Is that intentional?
No.
Okay. I want you to push. Your exhale needs to I need you to fill. You need to fill the lung all the way to almost if this gives way to the bass. They need to be almost synonymous in that way.
Okay.
And then your hey It needs to be. It comes out of it just in the same way you morph sound in the bass. In those extended techniques, it's then it's the bass. So don't let it cut. Let it go all the way to the breath mark, like to the hold. So hold is it's that therein lies the shift, and then again, a or hey. It doesn't need to be. I mean, in my opinion, it's spoken, but there can be many versions of that. Right now, I think it's a little, as they would say, a little too soft. I think you can go there. It doesn't have to be like a. It could be hey, and then a disintegrating. Like each time, a disintegrating foundation, a disintegrating foundation under, a disintegrating foundation under a catastrophe of air, right? And what do the two notes that are there after air? What needs to happen there?
The crescendo.
No, in measure 5 for you.
The quick inhale exhale.
Air.
Right.
So those different types of things that you can think about, right? Yeah. Sorry, let's try. Let's try from the beginning once more. Yeah.
Okay.
Once more. Push, 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 push.
Okay. Like, sorry. Was that?
So it needs to morph out. It needs to come out of it. So feel as if you can start less with your. You can cheat a little bit. So you can start. Give us more of a little bit more of the bass, and then come through the bass.
Okay. I see exactly. Okay. Yeah.
It needs to be the release. It's the release, right?
Yeah.
They're together, but they're separate, but they're together. Like the voice has to almost like drive you.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So it's an exhausting work in that way if you really go there.
Yes.
Right.
Okay. Can I just try one more time? I have to plan my breath a little bit better. I think this way. And would you say a and not ah? Because that's kind of what I was doing, but I just saw that you were using a. Oh, so you're.
I will learn this even a year and a half, and I will figure this out. A, it should be a, I think, unless Darian has said ah, but I think it's a.
Okay.
Because you wouldn't say ah and then or I think there's the colloquial placements of things based on where you're from, but a. So that way it's clear for everyone, all audiences. English, sometimes text in musical settings can be so hard to understand. So, hey, it could be hey, like, but almost with just air. Hey.
Got it.
Hey, disintegrating. A or hey. Hey, disintegrating. Or the second time, a disintegrating. But make sure don't shy away, I think, so soon from that fortissimo. Like you have that cell.
Okay.
So pace yourself so that you can get each one of them is kind of creating this build up each time. You're playing this kind of flux and flow game. It's good. Keep going. Once more. Like really, like lean in.
Okay.
Like let the tendril of that crescendo really, like, that's where you lean in on the change.
Got it. So it's
right?
almost kind of exponential.
Right? Exactly.
Okay. Sorry. Sorry, it's a habit. Let me try one more time. Okay. Hey. Hey. Disintegrating.
Okay, here. You break them because right now they're still not.
Right.
They're not together.
Yep.
Right? So they need to be together. So
Mhm.
both the bass sounds and bass gestures have to come out. Think of as if everything comes from the voice.
Mhm.
And then the voice launches you back into the bass again.
Mhm.
But even in your very first note, do you necessarily need I know you have this up bow down bow. Have you tried this all as one down bow? Very slow
No.
bow.
I can
Try from the
try.
beginning. Very slow bow. Very, very, very slow bow.
So like all as a down bow.
All as a down bow. So
Okay.
pace yourself.
Okay. Hey. Oh. And then I could do this one too, I guess.
Yeah, so you have to prep yourself for
Yeah.
that as you can. Start to get your breath ready as you're going up. I think you can kind of go up a little bit faster as you get towards the end of that cell. Within the glissando, you can kind of speed up a little bit. You can play around. It doesn't have to feel so. In my opinion, it doesn't have to feel so boxed, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can. And then
Yeah.
but you're kind of going in opposites, right? In this situation. Yeah. So let's just try it from your oscillations of the
Sure.
keys, and then going into the top.
Sure. I messed it up. Oh, this is okay. Let me. I'm so sorry. Let me try it again. Okay. Hey, disintegrating.
Okay, good. So what do you find? What do you feel? Like, what is the tension you feel when you say like when you go towards that? Like, what is that movement for you? Can you just play that for me and then tell me what you're feeling as you prepare, like as you add the breath to that?
Sure. Hey.
You can open up. Like you go, if you're like go there, like really put your body into it, like really go there.
Okay. Hey.
Okay, now just give me just the bass. Just give me the bass and imagine the voice you're gonna put, and then I'm gonna tell you to actually push the voice even further.
Okay.
It could be more intense in the voice right now. So hey, you're a protester, right? So a protester would be like, hey, you gotta right. You have to get the crowd. Imagine crowds. Imagine crowd. This is a constant pushback between public and the people you're with. You know, so the people you're with against whatever the forces are, right? So you're pushing against these forces. This is what's happening. So how do you hey, and then you punch out again each time. It's another gesture that's kind of going through. You're trying to get through each time, get the word out that even though it's being cut off, this is kind of essentially voices that are being silenced, right? So let's try.
So do you want me to do just the bass?
Just the bass,
Okay,
just the bass.
okay.
For just a second, I want you to just isolate.
Sure.
Play around, but do something you haven't already done. Like really go. Feel as if you're gonna open into the sea. Push. You're keeping kind of roughly the same up bow, right? Like really let it just unravel. Let it really unravel. Don't try to control it. You're controlling, but you're allowing it for it to kind of fray. How does that? Well, you tell me. It's in your body. How does that feel?
I think it feels good. I think sometimes it's like I can't always keep track of. It feels like it kind of just happens, and I'm not always like. I mean, maybe that's the way it's supposed to be, but I feel like it's not. It doesn't feel as measured as I maybe would like. I think maybe I just need more time with it, but like, you know, I just kind of like after a while, like I feel like it just kind of like body just happens, you know, if like in that kind of a moment.
And that's something, of course, you can practice. I mean, not necessarily. Are you counting, or are you just thinking, da da da? So you have like kind of 3 posts, right? That lead you to the third is essentially right back into the cells, right? So I think I would think in that way. Thank you, Peter. Think in that way. Okay, I want to jump a little bit because we have roughly about 5 minutes. We go so fast here.
Oh, wow.
I know. What I want you to think about, let's just jump to 16.
Sure.
Each of these should be a little bit more in the vocal.
You're very right. Yep.
So then, bum, 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 bee, bum, bee. Then which side am I on? Which side am I on? Boom, 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 bee, or boom, 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 bee, boom, bee. Each one of those, it needs to be a kind of a, as they call it, clap back. So it still needs to respond, right? You're asking questions each time, so those need to be a response. Boom, boom, bee, boom, boom, bee, boom, bee. Which side am I on? Which side am I on? Boom, boom, bee. I know you're singing this, but yeah, or Sprechstimme or something hybrid.
Okay. Which side am I on? Which side am I on? Which side are you on? Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
Okay, I'm gonna try to have you do something. Just the voice,
Okay.
I think it's the voice that needs a little bit more help here. So, which side am I on? Which side am I on? Boom, 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 beat. Which side am I on? Which side am I on? Like, let it, what we call a glottal stop. Let it, cut it, right? Right, cut it right there. Let the bass interrupt each time, right? So don't let it be on. Boom, 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 boom. Let it, what we call in jazz, a pop out effect, right? Try that. Like, take your volume back a little bit. So almost it's almost softer in this, and like the protest songs get bigger. So think as if you are walking as many, but the volume gets bigger each time. So then, which side am I on? And just let it cut there. Don't let it let it out there, full chest. Like, just go for it. Yeah.
Okay. Which side am I on? Which side am I on? Which side are you on? Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
And try to keep it. Just don't you conduct with your head.
Oh.
Which side are you on? Right? Which
Okay.
side are you on? Like really go with the. Sorry, I'm like probably sounds so loud. Sorry, everyone. But go go with it. Go with it. Yeah.
Okay.
Try the very last one.
Sure. Which side are you on?
Okay, a little bit more. Bum bum beat. Don't let laziness, I guess, in action happen. Because remember, this is a cause and effect. Boom bum beat. I think those can become even more bombastic. Each one of those.
Got it.
Let's try from the very first one. And remember, we were talking about there. Which side are you on? You really are asking. This is like it's insistent. The very last one, it really needs to mean something. Like it's like when they say for the people in the back. Like you have to like each one of these has a weight, and the last one is really like I am here. Where are you? What decision are you going to make now? Right? Yeah.
Which side am I on? Which side am I on? Which side are you on? Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
I would just let it go. You have a fermata, so don't worry about. Am I counting the beats? It looks like you almost like I can see it. It's like just let it go. Just like it's the last. It's the last part of the gesture. Just let it go.
Okay.
You can prep yourself. Which side are you on? You really. Which side are you on? Come away as Darian has given you. Which side are you on? Don't vibrate like I just did, but you know what I mean. Just but on, right? Okay, lots of great stuff here. I hope it was helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
And
So much.
I think the other thing I can tell you is in this section where you kind of go into always lower registers, you can really kind of like each one of those iterations can be a little bit more insistent, more exciting, kind of move around with it. Don't feel as if learn those patterns so well that they kind of just morph into the next thing from the C to the A to the B, right? The B flats that are in there, so that they feel as if it's just kind of like this free walking bass, and then you have this melody on there that just kind of sits in there, and you can like move the line even faster, and so right. So the way he's mixing language here, expressive language and idioms in that way, so it's really great. And I think you're on a really great track with it. So, bravo.
Thank you.
Okay. Next up we have Rozio. Okay, and we are playing. Let me get it. Wilfrido Terrazas. Pequeño extranjero.
Pequeño extranjero. Yeah.
You got it. There we go. Okay, so how long have you been with this piece?
Um, not much. Maybe a month. Yes, I met the composer many years ago. He was the first. I took with him my first like improvisation course, and I think that's something that he keeps a lot in his music. So that's like a new path that I'm starting to take more. So it's one of the reasons why I chose this piece.
Okay, awesome. Here we go.
Okay.
Rozio, I'm gonna ask you 1 second to pause. I'm so sorry. Is your original sound on? Because it sounds really soft and it's kind of
Oh,
phasing in and out. Let's see.
um,
In the top left corner within the chat, it should say original sound on or off. Not the chat, but just the main Zoom
yeah,
screen.
this audio.
It should say either up at top, either original sound on or off.
Um, I'm sorry, I cannot find it. I mean, like advanced also. No, advanced edition. Turn on original sound.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's try that. Just play a few, the beginning of it for me. It sounds about the same. How close is your mic? It's
Can
pretty
put it
close.
Yeah, I can also play louder too.
Okay. All right. Let's try it. Was it always on, or did you turn it on, the original sound?
I just turned it on.
Okay. Let's go ahead and try. Bravo. Okay, so what are some things for those of you that have never seen this score? So it's mixed up with a lot of glissandi that are mixed within here. There are some cells he gives Wilfredo, right? Male?
Wilfrido.
Wilfredo, male, right?
Willie. Everyone calls him Willie.
Okay, Willie. So there's lots of glisses and then smaller pitches. So when you're dealing with material like this, some of it's spatialized in a way where you have more space between notes. Some of it's much closer in time. He gives kind of quite a bit of freedom here, many kind of accents or kind of directions between like frenzied or harshly articulated, maybe sometimes to repeat some of the material over again, create melodies or patterns based on the kind of the cellular ideas that are kind of there. The very ending kind of repeating a few different times and kind of almost like releasing a big kind of expressive gesture. So what I would like to do, which is go back to the very beginning, or just let's choose a section here in the very first page of this and kind of work with some of this. So there's a lot of extremities that are kind of going on here. Sometimes it doesn't have to be so slow. Like your opening can be very much so slow and intense as he says, but you can kind of go between these mezzo piano forte, but they need to kind of go back and forth rather quickly, and not right now. I feel like it's a little too dragged out, and sometimes where we can feel as if we have kind of forward motion. Do you feel as if you kind of know where you're morphing into, or if you're kind of going, there really are no measures, but you're kind of going from like 1 to A to B to C, 1 to A, and those things like that. So how are you approaching it?
Um, in the pro notes, he mentions that he wants a transition being like water, and usually his music is really fluid. He does a lot of, he never breathes. He always does circular breathing. So I think that's something that is very unique in his music. He's a flutist, Wilfrido Terrazas. So in this, at the beginning of the music, I'm trying to keep like that idea of continuity. Maybe I think we're probably the area that is, it feels a little bit that it peaks will be when it goes to the sul ponti on the F quarter tone up. And then I feel like a peak, but between the glisses of the A quarter tone down to the G, thing is that those like glaze, since like probably 90%, one of characteristic 90% of the piece has glaze, I try to vary them and do them differently, and I use the glaze to make the phrasing a little bit too. You're mute. Sorry.
I'll learn. Let's take the very opening. I think what sometimes when you're dealing with this kind of spatialized music in this way, he gives you an eighth note. Even though the beginning is very slow and intense, you can still create movement within that, right? So kind of how you guide us, like, is your aim to be able to bring out the pitches in which he lays out, or to more so move through it more fluidly? Oh, that's a question.
Oh,
So how are you thinking? Like in the very opening, are you wanting to kind of bring out kind of the in betweens, or more so accent these this A quarter tone flat to the G quarter tone sharp, back to the F quarter tone flat, F,
um,
F sharp, then down to the C quarter tone?
I was seeing it a little bit like water. It
Mhm.
peaks, but it's not like it goes up. It's not a wave. It's just like go up a little bit. So probably just the motion of the water going up more
Mhm.
than specifically staying in the notes.
Okay, great.
Oh.
So let's try that up until you have the sforzando, the yeah, right? So you can be yeah. So you need to find a way to, so we can bring out more of this mezzo piano forte, like where in your score you can tell me later, but like where you decide to kind of create these hairpins of like this back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So let's try it a little bit from the beginning. Try something a little bit different, since there's openness, but there's structure. Try a little bit different. Try to control a little bit more. So almost feel as if you exhale into the G. You go to the G.
Sorry, the ice cream truck.
Oh, it's okay. So just that much, just that much, just that much. So I think you can, let's try taking the dynamic a little bit away. So when you go to the forte, it really it really can push us there. So really, I think it's even more effective. So control the bow a little bit more, less bow and more action here as you're going through. Okay, that good. So now when you think about weight pressure when you're playing, sometimes it feels like, well, what's happening here is like what we call being zoomed. Sometimes your sound starts to sound, and then I get the real full cello sound. So we're just dealing with all the technical stuff. So one thing I want to say is, sometimes have you played with kind of bow weight just in this opening section? So when you really go to forte, you really kind of lean in a little bit, and then you can kind of come away. Good. So this is really good. How is this feeling? If you start to play a little bit more with the weights of the bow in a way, and sometimes you don't need as much bow sometimes to make the gesture. As I'm getting to know it and getting to know you a little bit more, so you don't always have to use, you don't have to use a lot of bow here and there, but when you do, make sure it's very intentional, and how it relates to whatever's happening in the left hand as well. I want to jump to something a little bit different, where I want to see you just dig a little deeper here. This is your B section, where he gives very harsh sound. So there's many ways we can think about harsh sound. Harsh sounds can also be very beautiful. So it's kind of quality and how we kind of vary that. So let's look at the B section, and I would definitely have a much faster pace here. According, that is different from your opening, that can feel a little bit more still and kind of sporadic. Here, you're kind of roughly running in the same kind of dynamic color range between the forte and fortissimo. It's full, but sometimes your weight can be even heavier. So it can be the weight that causes the louder sound, not necessarily a faster bow to do that. But the movement between can also be quite fast, but it can be a more static bow that gives you the bigger sound. That makes sense?
Yes.
Yeah. So let's try it from B, right at B, just a bit brighter in tempi. Okay, I want you to use even less bow.
Okay.
So your first gliss up can use you don't need a lot of bow. So think of it as on the way down you can kind of crunch. You can kind of just move the bow even less. It stays more static in the string. Let's just try it.
In the I just have a question. In the bottom note and notes, when you have like the eighth note or sometimes that's noise, would you recommend me to do it with bow pressure? I was thinking of
It can be bow pressure. So I think that come down, like when you always have the descending line, you can it can start to kind of really crunch in that way. So you can use even like so little bow and just more pressure, much more pressure. Yeah. So that we really get that granular, like what he's asked. He wants this very kind of granular sound. Right now, it's still reminiscent. It's still similar to the material before. So it needs to be able. He's just creating textural changes, like sonic textural changes. So this, I think, right. So think in that way.
Okay.
And less bow, less bow, less bow.
Okay. I'll use a pencil.
Okay, let me try something for you. I know I haven't played for anybody else, but let me just give you like another example. Sorry, everything's not out right now. Okay. So just an idea here, I'm just gonna play, right? You can't even see this, but I'm gonna play it for you, just so you have a tenor clef? No. Treble, right? Treble. So you have so this idea you kind of keep you can kind of really push the sound in a way, but I think your up bow, going on up to the C, right? That idea going up and then back up and then back up. So that sense that it's always tense or even more tense, right? So you have to decide, is it the descending line or the ascending line that gets the most of that fortissimo, right? So these are things to kind of think about and how you can. What I do sometimes, I push into the bow to slow it down, to kind of create that like that kind of thing. Don't do it too much because it starts to really wear at the forearm over time. But to think about kind of how you can kind of create this knocking, like just kind of that sound, and also the just the harshness of some of this, which can still be very beautiful and very lyrical too. And how you kind of go about it, like where you can kind of push time a little bit, because you only have roughly 2/8 notes if you think about just meter by ya, right? So you think it by ya da 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 dee da yee. So if you think about kind of like roughly what timing you have for this, so it goes through pretty quickly, this whole kind of part of this, the early part of this line, and then it gets even faster. Right? So you kind of can move a little bit more faster and not be so a little less intentional. So if we have that eighth going into that B flat, but up an octave, so the upper B flat up above, you can be both. So you really can think and be even more playful with it, I think. Right? Oh, okay. I'm getting the time signal so we can keep everybody keep everyone moving. But this is really good. I hope this is very helpful to kind of keep you going and thinking about it. You can bring this to Chosen Veil. Uh, and keep thinking about kind of colors and textures. And when you have all those singular notes, B, 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 those can like kind of really fall away. So sorry. Sorry. Really think about kind of where kind of space and time and texture happen. And sometimes just independent study away from the cello can be very helpful. Okay?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you again. All right. And now we have Eva.
Hi.
Welcome, Eva.
Thank you.
How are you doing?
Good.
Fabulous. So much great music. Eva,
Yeah.
you're doing the Joan LaBarbera. Fabulous. Okay. How long have you been with this piece?
I've been working on it this month,
Okay.
on and off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I didn't get to work on it with her yet, but she's answered a couple questions. Some of it has to do with architecture, like a comparison between Frank Lloyd Wright and Gaudí, like chaos versus order. You'll see in the score triangles and spirals, so that's what that's about.
Yeah.
So that's part of the piece, which she didn't write about completely, but yeah, I guess I'll just play it.
Yeah. Okay, I'm excited. And then we'll talk about I love talking about the voice and how it relates. Okay, here we go. Woo! It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
It's your overtone whistle singing. Nice. Really, really good. How do you feel?
I felt better than I thought I would. I've been kind of struggling with. There's just so many ideas in this piece, and I've been struggling to put it together. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I want to ask you a few questions about a few things, and maybe we can
Yeah.
kind of like stitch some things
Yeah.
together. I'll help you put them a little bit better together. So on your last page, top line, after you have the the first big gliss down, she gives you 3 sets of A's that kind of gliss. Right?
Yeah, I guess I interpret that as just the seagulls, but I guess that could be another gesture.
I think it's because she's intent on what she has here. So I think she really wants it kind of be kind of that like each one can be I think you can play around with the tempi for those. But roughly almost the same. Each one can be a little bit different. And then you have the so that's very calm and legato coming out of that whole thing, right? And then that should be then you kind of set up this trance. This trance thing, because this is from what year?
97.
Yep. Okay. Joan in 97. Okay, yep, that's about right. Okay. So it's it's ethereal. There's a lot going on here. So let's just try from that gliss, that last line, just for a second, and then feel as if it's not so intense, kind of coming out of this into the second line. The second line is very calm.
I was missing it for some reason. Where is it? I'm missing it now.
If you take your hand, get it just as close, make the space is much smaller than you think.
And then coming out of that, going into the next one.
Keep bottom Peter. You like that like don't let it cut, because it's already gonna cut. It's gonna pop differently because of what she's written here. Bottom Peter. So you're giving me lots of intensity. I want you. It's not so Elgar or so Dvorak. It's like ballad. Bottom Peter. A little bit less here, more you just want more tone. Yeah, then yeah. So be careful not to push so much on that last note.
Okay.
So your sound doesn't fray so much, because I think for her she's very much so thinking voice. it's almost like a dreamscape, just like, what was that? And they go on to this. And so, yeah, that feels more kind of, from what I know, Joan, in kind of in line. Like, it's like you're in this world, and all of a sudden someone's something over here, and she's like, and then you go over to that thing, and it's like, huh. And then you get this kind of like vocalese, like this song without words, almost, that kind of happens here. Really beautiful last half. I think you can either slow the hand, go a little bit faster in some moments, increase the pressure a little bit as you're going through, especially the top. I want to draw a little bit of attention as well. I think it's on page 3, the bottom. So she talks about these triangles, right? Did she give you any description before?
Yeah. All she said was the triangles are representing Frank Lloyd Wright's architecture and the spirals Gaudí. She specifically mentioned La Sagrada Familia. Not much else to work with.
We talk about peaks. We think about peaks, and that those can be apex or convex, and so I think you can think the middles of these are always kind of where the weight is. Right? Let's just play around with this for a second.
It's hard to control that.
Where's the weight? Where do you push the body? Let's think in that way.
With bow to try that.
So, but it's pits here. Let's try once more. Like, let's get into that uncomfortable zone, but try to link them together so they're not so separate. Okay, play with the time a little bit. Push and pull a little bit here. Go. Yeah, this is better. This is better, I think. And I think what you can think about here is trying to link them even further together in a way that doesn't, that she gives you the dots across, right? So there are two different ideas here, but before you go to the arco from the pits, and so you can start to feel as if you're almost moving from right to Gaudi, almost, essentially. Totally different worlds, and also very different continents.
That's still in the right world.
Is that still in the right world?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's still think about the fluidity still here. You can kind of push the time a little bit here. It doesn't have to feel B, ba, B. So it's not always lower, it could be higher. So if you think the right, in a lot of Wright's houses, especially the homes, especially if you just think of those, where he decides very strategically to put these angles in interesting places, and sometimes in ways one would never, never guess to kind of configure. So if you can think about, imagine some of those angles in which he puts, how could that kind of create the architecture for you? You know, does that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Like, how could you shape certain structures or topographies, if I can think about it in that way. Let's just try that once more.
I shaped it the same exact way, I think.
But this is something I want you to try to play with just in your own time. Just really think about, like, what else could I do with this? Which is a lot. It's a lot. Like,
Yeah.
see, like I would even go and find a few, right, architectural structures and see like how can I take these pitches and try to shape, like how could I think of those homes or shapes as graphic scores using these pitches, and where do the angles align in a specific type of way, and then bring it back to this, and so you have kind of a visual.
That's very close to my Joan LaBarbera experience as well. So.
Okay. So there you go. In that way.
The visuals first.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And then I think with the timing, you have this Ataka from 2 to 3, from page 2 into page 3, this material. I don't know if these are quarters or if they are 16ths. I'm sorry, 8ths or 16ths.
Yeah, I've messed around with that quite a bit. You mean the quintuplets?
Yes,
Yeah. For a while I was playing it at 16. It was just very gestural, just kind of moving forward. And then I figured for a masterclass I should play it once written. Yeah. But it does feel slow. But
it feels a little bit slow, but I don't think it necessarily has to be very much so much faster, especially when it becomes, he really stretches it, she stretches it, sorry. She stretches it faster. So it seems more compact in a way with the breaths, and then so I think it can feel, you can have the motion that's there, not necessarily so much faster in a way.
More direction.
It's more about direction, I think.
Yeah.
There's still a sense of stillness within this. So these characters seem very similar. And then you kind of go into that harmonic material that kind of comes next. We're almost out of time. Loved this part. Can you just play for me your opening once more?
Yeah, I actually would love to work on that.
Okay. How do you go about this? Is so reminiscent of a beautiful work that's deep in my rep by Louis Andriessen called La Voce, which would be a great work for you, I think, actually, just your voice.
Didn't you mention that in your
I did.
talk? Yeah, because I wrote it down.
Yeah, La Voce by Cesare Pavese. So it's very similar in the chords and where you put these thirds and fifths and sometimes flat nines that the voice has to sing and not necessarily a cello. So your first note, what are you thinking? Even though it's strummed, like you have three, right? With the same pitch classes, just played.
Yeah.
Bowed in the second iteration of it.
There's something mysterious and unnatural about it because first of all, it's not very resonant part of the cello, and the chord itself is, and especially with the voice coming in after that, so the pits kind of, you don't know what comes after that. It's indeterminate, right? What comes after that.
So let's think about it like in a way you could. Oh, this is so funny. This is written for Erica. She's a good friend of mine. I'm just singing in the score. If you could try the first chord once more, and then really feel like the voice can just kind of like subtly come out of the cello sound. Even less voice up front. Almost fragile. Yeah, so that's the thing. So these are some of the gestures, just to kind of just isolate them in that way, like figure out like, where does my breath have to happen here? Like, And sometimes you can cheat the quarter a little bit to kind of take a quick breath to then set the next event. Let's just think about it in that way, right? So try to take that breath right before the F sharp, right? And then you set the next chord and then come through again. It's almost like phantom. Da, ya, next event.
So just kind of cheated in there, like.
Yeah. So
I was trying to do that whole thing.
No. Just like a wind player has a breath mark. Breath mark.
I feel like I put a little bit too much of a accent when I came back in with after my breath, but yeah, I just had to finesse that.
Sometimes we can say you can just almost kind of like
Sneak in.
Yeah. Let's try it one more time. Start a little bit more breathy in there. Take the voice second. Cello, then voice. Even though she writes it on a grid, just right? Put more air in your sound a little bit. It'll help you probably a little bit. Yeah, that's it. Does that feel more controlled?
Yeah, it was easier.
Yes, also that.
Also because I could just check the pitch first with the cello.
Look at that.
Yeah. Very smart.
But it feels very, very still, right?
Yeah,
and it's controlled.
Musically too. Yeah.
Yes, I think that kind of puts it really set up. I think Anush says haunting here in the comments. So I think that works really, really beautiful. So you have like these events that are happening, but they still feel very seamless in a beautiful way. So I think stick with this, and then you have right when you start to really get the lyrical lines in the second system. Just play for me right there, right on that. More air, more. Okay, drop your jaw a little bit. Just let it rest. Don't feel like if you have to emote so much. Push more air in the actual pitch. So it's more breathy. You're too focused. Yeah, there you go. Okay, then here. Try your head voice. Lift. Like you say, ah. Like try that. Ah. Don't think too hard. Just like you say, ah, I know this thing. So that shit, ah. One more time. Try one more time. That's good. One more time. Relax here. Relax. Take it. set in the right, and that chord in the cello. Yeah. Okay. Bravo. We have to stop because I have to run too. But really, really, really beautiful. Thank you, thank you, thank you to you, but also to everyone who has played today.
Thank you so much for doing this.
Yes, my pleasure. It sounds really beautiful. I think it's transformed in so many ways. Keep going with it. You should definitely play this on a stage in public.
Planning on it.
Good. But no, it's really, really beautiful. Keep going with it. Keep exploring. Sometimes isolate the voice and the face. Look at yourself in the mirror and pretend, just mimic the actual cello movement so you can know that what this physical movement is actually happening in connection with all of this, right? As two separate beings, but also cohesively. But it's sounding really good. Really think about the timbres you create with them, with the voice as well, like how you play, how you come into a note, how you release from the note, right? Okay, really, really beautiful.
Thank you.
It's really haunting. Now, everyone's done such a great job today. Thank you again, Peter. Thank you to Next Fest. This has been an absolute pleasure. And
Totally amazing to have you, Seth, and thanks to everybody who played today, Nina and India and Sam and Rocio and Eva and Seth. It's just been amazing having you be at the festival, and can't wait till the next time we do something big together. Thank you. Have a great summer. We'll miss you.
Enjoy, everyone. Take care.
Thanks, everybody. Take care.